Hey guys! Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Benjamins podcast. I'm Jade.
I'm Corey.
And we are here again for another episode. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
We're so excited to be here, you guys, as you can tell. So how are you doing?
Okay. It's a nice day. The first day of summer, I think, was recently.
Oh, yeah. Last week.
And it's
last Friday.
Blazing hot.
Oh, yeah. It came in hot.
Blazing hot.
Literally. Summer came in hot.
Legs out.
Yes. Finally, maybe take a little dip in the water.
We gotta
make our way to some water somewhere.
Cannibal, please, my God.
Yes. Hopefully soon.
Please.
So, well, that's good. Guys, today we just wanted to dive right in. We wanted to talk about overcoming fear, and we just felt led to make this a series. We're gonna have a mini series of this, talking about different kind of fears and overcoming these, different kind of fears that we may face. So today we're gonna talk about, like I said, overcoming fear. And the first way to overcome fear.
Well, before we do that, right? Maybe we'll talk about kind of how we got to this point.
Oh, sure. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, sorry. When we were dating, not even when we were dating, before we were dating. No, actually, while we were dating and before we were dating, it was something that came up often. Fear, and kind of like how that was something that our families kind of have dealt with, and how it has shown itself within each other, and almost like a stronghold in a way. And we wanted to just make sure that we were addressing those fears and helping each other to address whatever fear we may be experiencing in our lives. So it's something that's very important to us, something that we've discussed early on, and something that we continue to discuss. So we thought, why not bring to the podcast and talk about fear here and how we, kind of addressed it and address it.
Right. I mean, and just to piggyback off what you're saying, because I think you framed it great, was we talked a lot about different things we want to do differently, that we identified that were the things we would just want to do differently. And one of the things that we've discussed a lot was about how fear has been something that's kind of stifled sometimes some of the progress that we've noticed. That's we talk about stronghold. We spiritually think about something that can kind of keep you from going to the next level, can keep you from going to that next place, right? And it's sometimes the product of sin. And we recognize that both in your family and my family, that there were things that fear was basically controlling. And fear itself, the reason why it's so important to overcome fear is fear is like a virus. When you're fearful, you can go into a situation thinking you got all the confidence, and then fear comes through, and all that confidence goes out the window. It can affect how you think. It affects the way you operate, how you move, how you shape. There are people who literally are right at the door they need to open, and they're afraid to open that door because they're afraid of what's over the next, what responsibilities may be coming at the next side of that door.
The unknown.
The unknown, right? And so we recognized early on that was something that we personally had to deal with, and so I think we'll just kind of start by kind of a little journey about kind of how we realized fear was kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And so what for you did you kind of realize kind of fear was mm-hmm. an element that you kind of had to overcome in order to kind of get to your next accomplishment, your next goal mm-hmm. that you need to get to in life?
So a fear that I had was basically when I decided that I wanted to change career paths. That was a very fearful thing for me, because in high school and college, it's all I ever wanted to do was med school. I wanted to be OBGYN, deliver babies. That's all I ever wanted to do. So I'm, studying and shaping up just so that I can do this thing, go to med school. Like how Corey did that. I was wanting to do the same thing. And it's also how we connected even before dating or anything like that. That was always our common interest, was med school, studying, sharing materials, things like that. That's how we connected. So anyways, it came a point where I realized I didn't want to do med school anymore. After school, after college, I had a job as a medical assistant, and this is when it first happened. Basically, I was helping with this certain procedure, and the equipment or the instrument that the doctor had to use made this kind of like pop sound. And the first time he had to use it, but also I think it also made the female like start cramping and stuff. So they were making like these noises like in pain. And so anyway, they used it the first time, and I was supposed to be helping like to pass the instruments to him and everything, trying to help out. And I fainted. I literally fainted in the room. The doctor, the person on the table, they're both like, "Oh, is she okay?" Meanwhile, she's the patient and I'm supposed to be helping. So yeah, that was like, oh gosh, so annoying. And then like months later, the same thing happened again. I passed out again, but this time before I passed out, I just took myself outside the room and sat down and got some air, because I was just like, not again. I'm not going to the ground again. This is too much. And so anyway, with those situations, plus taking the MCAT and studying for it and being stressed over it, I realized, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this, but I was just so fearful and afraid to tell people that I had changed my mind, because everyone knew, like friends, family, church friends and family, they all knew this is what I wanted to do. And it was just like, once I came to that realization, I was just kind of fearful and embarrassed to say I changed my mind. I want to do something else. I want to do cosmetic chemistry now. And I remember that when me and Corey started talking, he reached out to me for my birthday back in like 2017. And we were just talking, and the med school conversation came up. How's it going? How's studying going? And I was like, for a second, I thought like, oh, maybe I won't tell him if I lie and not tell the truth. Don't do that. So yeah, I was just like that. But then I quickly was like, nope, I'm gonna, walk in this and be confident in this. And so I told him like, yeah, I'm actually not doing med school anymore. Like I changed my mind. I want to do cosmetic chemistry. And he was just like so supportive and so intrigued and asking me questions about it. And just like the reaction was like not what I expected at all. So shout out to telling the truth and walking in my truth. But anyways, so yeah, that was a time where I had to, identify the fear and just speak against it, like just ignore it. Yeah, pretty much. What would you say?
Yeah, so for you, a lot of it was about disappointment, and I have a similar, thing that happened for me in regards to being fearful of this disappointment and failure.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I am a medical doctor now, but it took me a long time to get into medical school. I graduated from undergrad, and between the time of my graduation from undergrad to my finally getting to medical school was 8 years. And so over the 8 years span of time, I had taken MCAT. You guys don't do this. I took the MCAT 8 times. It's wild. I know. But I took it 8 times. And finally on the 8th time, I finally got the score that I was a better score to get. But over that span of time, there was multiple cycles of applying for medical school, multiple times into seeing my friends who got to medical school, finished medical school, some of them even finished residency by that point. And I'm sitting there just like feeling defeated. There was even a point where I almost just said, maybe I shouldn't go to medical school. Like I've been wanting to become a doctor since I was maybe like 9 or 10. And I was at that moment, just so much fear and doubt just had taken over that I almost just wanted to give up on a dream that I've had all my life. But thankfully, I didn't give up. And sometimes you may wonder why you go through this is a little sidebar. Sometimes you may wonder why you go through certain things. For me, I had wondered for the longest time, why did I have to endure for so long to get into medical school, and there was a lot of things. But I think one of the pieces was that God knew that you and I were going to be married. God knew that you were going to make a shift in your career. And
I want to just add, it's okay to change your mind too. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be fearful about that. Like, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
So
exactly, 100%.
That's something I wish I would have known back then too.
Right,
it's okay to change your
100%.
mind, no matter how long it took you to get to that point. It's okay.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
The journey that I had to take, I know that a part of what I went through was all to kind of help encourage you to go to your next and not be afraid to go to your next. Right. By the time I talked to you with your birthday in July, I'd already taken my MCAT. Finally, the last time I took it, and finally got the score I wanted to get.
Right.
And I knew that I was in such an encouraging mindset at that point where I was just I've gone through this long haul of a journey, and so the Lord allowed for me to use that space where I was in to help encourage you.
Right, with taking the GRE. Right. That was something that I now needed to do because since I wanted to do grad school instead of med school, I had to take the GRE, and it was kind of like I wanted to take it, but I was pushing it back, I'll just take it next semester or whatever. And Corey, this is when we just started connecting, was like, no, don't wait. Take it now. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Just take it.
Right.
And so I was just like, oh, he helped me to identify that fear that I had of failure. And I took the exam, and it was way better than the MCAT. Did much better, and I didn't have to take it again. But you never know till you try. Right. So I'm really grateful for Corey for helping to push me early on in the beginning. That was super pivotal for me. I was at a very crossroads in life, and I just want to say thank you for always believing in me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So identifying is so important. The next thing you have to do when thinking about overcoming your fear, you got to change your mindset. You got to change, you got to change your language. Change your language first. Change your language. Right? Change how you're talking about fear.
Exactly.
Or talk about going to the next level. Right. It wasn't until Jade identified talking about helping each other. It wasn't until Jade helped me realize that I was so often using language that was defeated language. There were times when I would talk about things where I was unsure about something I'm not sure if I can do this. I feel so terrified. And she'd be like, terrified? Why would you use words matter, bro? Why would you use terrified?
They do. Don't speak that over yourself.
And I wasn't realizing I was speaking defeat over myself. And she was like, you're not terrified. You may feel a little doubt, but terrified? You're terrified?
No.
And so she had to really call me out on it. And I'm grateful because, some of you don't realize the words that you're using have such an impact on how you're thinking.
Right.
And if you are constantly making a habit of using language that is defeated language that is, doesn't help you, then stop using that. Right. If it's just so important to this, I don't know if you need to make a list for those who are thinking about this, maybe make a list of the words that you've used to kind of describe some type of goals you have. Whatever word is negative on that list, find an antonym, right? Find a word that's exact opposite to that. Change your can't to can, right? Change your won't to will, right? Change over your language,
right?
Because it's so important, right? That's such an important piece. Once you've identified that that's something that you have, and the fear is a thing, you have to change how you're talking about it. Because if you don't, then you're gonna always think you can't. You're gonna always, say you can't do something when you should be saying you can.
Right. Right. It's I just thought about this. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. So we are what we speak. So if we're saying oh, I'm fearful. Oh, I'm scared. I can't do this. I could never do that. I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I don't have enough experience, whatever the case may be. You're speaking that over yourself. So we have to, again, change our language. Change our language is so important.
So important.
So important. Like, stop speaking fear over ourselves and start
100%.
speaking freedom, victory. I can do this. I will do this.
Right.
Those kind of things.
Yeah. Did you have an example as well for yourself, like where you felt like you had to kind of change kind of what you were saying about yourself? Kind of, I mean, I think you touched on a little bit about kind of, about your exams and the whole 9 yards. But
yeah, like with the exams, just feeling like I'm not ready. I can't do this. Like, again, you do need to study. You don't need to walk into it blindly and waste your money, and your time, period. But like, I have been studying for a little while and I had to change my language. Like, I can do this. Like, this is different. This is a new experience. This is a new test. This is a new time in my life. I've never taken it before this point, the GRE, and it was kind of like I needed to change my language. Like, no, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And again, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you never know until you try. So don't let, I had to not let that fear hold me back or push me back, to delay it. Like, no, do it now. Do it now. So yeah, that can go for whatever that looks like for you. I'm talking about the test, but whatever in life, don't delay it. Do it now. Do it now, because another thing, life is not promised. Time is not promised. So do it now. Especially if it's something that you feel like God is calling you to. Don't delay. Do it now. Okay?
It's real.
So yeah. But another thing that we were talking about when it comes to fear and overcoming fear, like we said, changing your language, but ultimately you have to change your mindset when it comes to fear and how you view it and how you view yourself and how you walk and how you talk. It's a change mindset that you have to have ultimately, because once you change your mind, you change the way you speak. You'll change how you identify the fear. It'll help you actually to identify what it is once you have that changed mindset, having that discernment about that's fear, whatever, I need to address that. So what would you say are ways that you had to change your mindset? I know you said that you took the MCAT and I know you had to take it 8 times. How did that, experience make you see that you need to change your mindset?
Yeah, I think.
What were you thinking during that time?
What I was thinking during that time was I just had to do this. Right? For me, it was I had to get to a point mentally where I had to be reminded that it was Christ who gives me the strength. Right? It's not myself. Right? I can't go to this exam thinking that I can just accomplish this by myself. I can only do this if Christ allows me to do this. Right? And I had to be more persistent about my determination about being succeeding than failing. Right? And that's where that mindset change comes to play. And it's a daily thing. Right?
Yes.
When we talk about like fear being a virus, it doesn't just happen in leaves. It's like the enemy uses the same exact tools all the time, right? And so each day he's just testing, trying you out. He's like, the devil going to try you every single day, right? And so you have to every single day be committed to saying, I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to do this. Right? I'm going to have a mind to work. I'm going to have a mind to do this. I'm going to have a mind to accomplish whatever I'm trying to accomplish. Right? And so there were things I had to do to change my habits of what I was doing. Like if I was, last time I took the exam, I studied for a year taking that exam. Right? And, but I wanted to make sure I was fully ready. I want to make sure that I was prayed up, or make sure that, I had whatever I need to do to get to that particular point, right? But you had to change how you're thinking about how you're envisioning succeeding at something. You have to change that, right? Because if you can't ever envision yourself accomplishing or achieving a particular thing, you're never gonna get to that next point.
You're never gonna get to the next point. You're gonna stay stuck. And it's like, we can try on our own all we want to do these things, making the list, doing this, doing that, but ultimately it's God who transforms, it's God who transfigures our mindset. So like you said, it's so important to every day ask God to help change your mindset, help you to see things the way that he sees things and not the way that you see things. So we can't do it on our own. Like, we have not done it on our own. We still need God to help us with our mindset and how we view things. And it's a daily walk. It's a daily walk. It's a daily thing. And it's just asking God, like, help me to stop having this stinking thinking. Okay? Like,
The stinking.
Like, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. Like, okay. Okay. But yeah, that's, physically what I'm saying. It's like, we got to stop. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay. And we can't do it on our own, but God, who gives us strength, he can help us. He can help guide us, lead us. Like I said, transfigure our mind and renew it daily so that it's like him.
Yep.
And that we're like walking in victory mindset and not a defeated mindset, a fearful mindset, intimidated mindset. Like, no. He's giving us what we need.
Right.
He's opening the doors that we need him to open. We're going to be ready when it comes for us. And yeah, it's all going to work out.
Right.
It always does. All things work together for the good.
All right. Overcoming that fear.
Okay.
Overcoming that fear.
So important. So yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to share about overcoming fear for this?
No, I
part one?
I think you really kind of brought it all together there, right? And so, but again, this is a mini series, but we'll talk about
part
fear.
One.
We'll talk part one, but we'll talk about fear a little bit more as well, about overcoming it as well, because we're still figuring it out. As we just said, we're still figuring out overcoming fear as well. But God has allowed for us to overcome fear in different areas of our lives, and we pray that you guys will be able to, whatever areas you have fear, that God would also help you overcome that fear, whether it be in your personal life, your relationships, marriages, whatever it may be. Okay.
Sounds good. Well, guys, that's the end of this episode. We thank you again for hanging out with us. We're so glad you guys chose to tune in to the Becoming Benjamins. Become more like us as we become more like God. And
whoa, wait a minute. T-shirt, please.
Hold up with the merch. Hold up now. But anyways, yeah, we just want to say thank you again for tuning in. And as always, please comment, subscribe, share, and like this video with your friends, your family, whoever. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. Thank you for the support again. And we'll see you next time. Bye.